Hey guys, and welcome back to another exciting tutorial. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing on a concept called time remapping, and we're going to be doing that in Adobe Premiere Pro. Now, to start, what you want to do is you want to start a new project when it opens. That much is obvious, and then you're going to see this all blank. So what you want to do is you want to double click here to import your media. Now I'm going to go over to my hard drive because everything you should have to do any sort of editing should be on your hard drive and not on your Mac because it saves you a shit ton of space. Anyway, I'm going to import footage that I shot for my documentary, or that one of my I shot this with a friend who helped me out on my documentary for an assignment, and thanks Nick, I owe you one. So we're going to import that footage. Okay, now that that's done, we're gonna see this bin called footage. A bin is essentially where everything is stored. It's where our holy grail is. Bins are a great way to organize all your footage. I'm just saying that right now. Anyway, what we're gonna do is we're gonna find a clip that we want to make slow-mo. And there's actually two ways that I like to do it. Let me just find a clip and we'll get back to you shortly. All right, now that we found our clip, what we're going to do is we're going to scroll through it to find out where we want to make this slow-mo. So he starts running from here, and he does a flip. So what I did here is I hit my in and out points for the selected clip. So I would hit I for where I want to start and O for when I want it to end. Now, to make things super slow motion, what you have to do before you even consider even editing it in slow motion is to shoot it at 60 frames per second. So what that does is it makes it super smooth. The frames, it makes 60 frames per second. So there's literally barely any motion blur to see. There's a little bit, but not too much. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hit this little symbol down here, and we're going to click and drag it over to our timeline, which would be right here. Okay, now that we have that in the timeline, what we're going to do is a basic time remap. So as he's jumping up and doing the flip, I want to make this part slow motion. So I cut here with the razor tool, which is over here, using the hot command key C, and then end it off as he lands. So cut it right there, and then we're going to move this part a little bit back. Now we're going to select this part where he does the flip. Then we're going to right click, go to speed duration, and then let's make that 50%. And then we're going to go to optical flow for time interpolation. Now we're going to hit OK. And now it's super slow motion. But the thing you have to watch out for is this little red bar, because usually it won't render that fast. So what we're going to do is we're going to render this out real quickly by pressing enter. But what I have for my command key to render the entire thing is shift enter, but we'll get to that in another tutorial. So let's just render this out. Okay, now that we have that rendered out, let's see what it looks like now. As you can see, that was super slow, but the thing is about optical flow is you have to be really careful in regards to the light. So the reason why I say this is because you'll notice a little bit of distortion when it comes to optical flow, like right there in this frame. You'll see it exactly right there. So you can see how it's meshing the thing around it, because light actually distorts the optical flow. So what we're going to do is we're going to do something called time remapping in Premiere Pro. They have their own little time remapping tools, so let's get into that. So we're gonna go ahead and delete all this. Then we're gonna find the clip that we used, so that is 9590. Okay, so now that we have the duplicate, we're gonna hit enter, rename it to slow-mo 24.23 or 24 frames per second. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit right click, modify, interpret footage. Then we're gonna go down to assume this frame rate and type in 23.976. What it's essentially doing is it's changing the frame rate of your clip. So I'll show you what this does exactly. So normally our clip would be playing at 60 frames per second at normal speed, but when we change the frame rate of the clip, it makes it super slow motion naturally. Now what we want to do is we want to grab the part where he's running. So set our in point, jumping, 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 and land. And set our out point. Then we're going to go to click and drag on the video only. We're going to keep existing settings. And we're going to just drag this up a little bit. Now here's where we get interesting. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to highlight our footage, right click, show clip keyframes, time remapping, and speed. Now you won't be able to see the thumbnail, but that's completely fine. Now we're going to go over to effect controls to see what exactly we're doing. So what I want is to have this clip play normally before he starts the flip. So as he's here, what I'm going to do is you'll see a line right here. You're going to hold command and make a keyframe. Now this line, what you're going to do is you're going to drag it up to about 225% to play it at normal speed. So let's make that 225. And he does his flip. Then you're going to make another keyframe where he lands and make that normal speed as well. So click and drag up to 225. That's way too much. And there you go, it's super slow motion. Let's render this out to see how it looks fully. Okay. It's a little bit choppy, but it's not that bad. Now, the interesting part about these keyframes is that you can drag them so that they can be smoother. So you'll see how I made a little line here going down. It's essentially easing into the slow motion, and then we're going to ease it out to make it a little bit smoother. And yeah, that's essentially how you do time remapping in Premiere Pro. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Subscribe for more tutorials, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as possible. This is Legend Motion Productions, signing out.